because I don't have a label promoting me. It's just me and my brother. Because I want to prove that you don't need a label to make it in the music industry. People always think I'm signed and I have this huge team and marketing budget, and then I tell them I'm independent.
So I just watched this YouTube short where Jake mentioned that he does not have a label promoting him. And it's funny because only 10 minutes before I was searching for his label and I found Jake's Wikipedia page here and it says labels AWOL. And while it sounds like a small label, what I found out really shocked me because it seems like one of the biggest labels in the world is behind AWOL. But to really understand the situation, we have to dig deep because this situation is complicated. I looked this up because I got criticized on my last video for saying that I think his label influenced some of his decisions about faking his TikTok, and I want to be clear. I think Jake is a great artist. I absolutely love his song Golden Hour. I think it's an extraordinary song, and in this video I'm only responding to the comments on my last video because people were saying, hey, what are you saying here about his label? He does not have a label and so on. So this is my response. So let's try to find out if he is signed to a label, if he has a label promoting him or not. We will do some research about AWOL and even find out what Elon Musk has to do with this situation. It's crazy, it's funny, it's entertaining, so definitely worth watching. So first, how it all started. To me, everything looked like he was signed to a label. First, he had these major collaborations with artists like Charlie Puth here or also with Alicia Keys. He got radio promotion, TV promotion, listed on major playlists on Apple Music like New Music Daily or Best of the Week. These are all signs, usually are only for artists that are signed to a label, because the record labels have special deals with TV stations, with radio stations, and also with Apple Music, Spotify, especially Apple Music. Spotify is a little more independent, but Apple Music the playlists are highly influenced by labels. So this is how it looks to me. And how a label deal works is that all the revenue, all the money an artist makes is a share between the record label and the artist. And in return, the label gives the artist like all these TV promotions, radio promotions, marketing budgets, help for making music videos, playlisting in these major playlists and the streaming services. This is huge. And of course, collaborations like this one here with Alicia Keys and Charlie Puth. But who knows, maybe Jake is an exception and he's maybe the first independent artist who gets all this. But before we get into this AWOL that I found before, I want to give you another example. He's another artist that went extremely viral on TikTok. Her name is Chloe Adams. Her song Dirty Thoughts was super viral on TikTok. But guess what? No radio, no TV, no major playlisting, no collaboration with other major artists, because she refused to sign with a record label. And don't get me wrong, I think there's nothing wrong with signing a record label deal. It has its pros and cons. But this major playlisting, TV, radio shows usually isn't typical sign that the artist has some form of record label deal. So let's find out what AWOL is. A quick Google search brings me to this site here. It's a blog for independent artists called Ari's Take. So this guy has an article where he compares distribution companies for independent artists. So these are services these artists use to get their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Pandora, and so on for independent artists. Yeah, and you can see here some of the most popular services are the CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore, and we have AWOL. But AWOL seems to be an exception. You need to give them a share, but in return you get, guess what? Help for promotion and marketing. Does it mean it is a label? Not yet, maybe something in between. Let's find out more. Questions about AWOL. What does AWOL stand for in music? In music, AWOL stands for Artists Without a Label. But 2 questions later, who is signed to AWOL? Okay, this is just very funny. This is very funny. Have you ever heard about this flamethrower here? Flamethrower. So it's obviously a flamethrower. We can see it's a flamethrower. But this flamethrower is called not a flamethrower. So it is a flamethrower, but the name is not a flamethrower. And Elon Musk did this because the flamethrower was illegal, like to ship in California. And then they say, okay, let's call it not a flamethrower. And suddenly it was legal to ship it in California. To me, this is exactly what AWOL sounds. AWOL is Artists Without a Label, but it's the name of the label. So who is signed to not a label? I know Kim Prater's deadmau5, Phineas, the brother of Billie Eilish. Okay, I think we need to dig a little deeper. Let's go to AWOL's website. Powering independent artists. Hey, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so definitely when he's immediately at the beginning of the website, Jake, that means he definitely has a relationship to them. It's not just the Wikipedia article. And if you ask me, all this material here, what you can see right now, it looks very professional. So this doesn't look like independent artists also. So let's find out how it works. AWA Recordings, a global record label, built to break artists on their own terms. I think at this point we can assume that Jake is not in the smallest, also not the medium tier, but in the top tier, because he reached the tipping point, right? Explore how each stage works below. Elevated funding, yes, you get here. And what is it? We put the money, you approve the marketing budget. Worldwide artist marketing. Digital campaigns, brand collaborations, visual production, whatever else it takes to push your project up to the charts. The next thing, creative sync, playlisting and radio. From Apple ads to today's top hits to top 40 radio. Global promotion. The thing is, it definitely sounds like a record label, but I never heard about AWOL before, and I usually hear about record labels, so let's find out who is behind AWOL. So before we go on real quick, let's go to his Facebook page, click about this page, then people who manage this page. 48 people in Canada, 26 in the United States, 3 in United Kingdom, and 2 in Singapore. 79 people are managing his Facebook and Instagram page. I mean, I can imagine like 3, 4, maybe 5 people or so, family members, friends, just to secure access to the Facebook page. That's what I do. But 79? 79 people. Jake, I thought it's just you and your brother. Let's find out who is behind AWOL. AWOL is a British music distribution company owned by Sony Music Entertainment. So, Sony Music is one of the biggest record labels in the world. And here again for AWOL Recordings, the top tier of AWOL, under which artists are given record label-like resources. And for AWOL recording artists, it's likely to be a 50-50 or profit share agreement. So with other words, does Jake has a huge team behind him who helps him promoting his music? Yes, very, very likely. I think so. Does he has a record label deal? At the end of the day, no one knows, only the people who really signed the deal. But chances are very, very high. Does he get promoted by AWOL in radio promotion, Apple Music and so on? So very, very likely. I mean, if not Jake is in the top tier of AWOL, which is the record label version of AWOL. If not he, who else is in this tier? So I think he's signed to a label which has the name Artists Without a Label, which is extremely funny. But again, no one really knows what's going on here. AWOL, if you're watching this, let me know what you are if you are not a record label. And again, no bashing against Jake. I think he's a great artist. He's an extraordinary songwriter. I love his music. I love his songs. I personally was just very surprised when I found out that his TikTok was fake, because it seems so real to me. But at the end of the day, this is part of the music business now for decades. And maybe this is what we want to hear as an audience, as part of the entertainment. I'm not sure. I mean, as long as it's good music and enlightens our life. And then with this label story here, I just think it's super, super entertaining and funny. Anyways, if you haven't watched my previous video about his TikTok yet, click here and I also link you my piano tutorial where you can learn the song Golden Hour, because usually I do piano tutorials here on my channel, and even if you never sit on a piano before, you should give it a try, because I broke this beautiful song down in super tiny steps that everyone can do.